Anything explosive happened in the news today? I'm just joking, sort of, kind of. A lot of explosions and facts, and not just one singular thing, but it looks like the elites didn't quite get that World War III to kick off the way that they wanted to back in the early stages of 2022, and, well, tell me that Ukraine is rolling up shop without telling me Ukraine is rolling up shop, because now we got the chosen land and the chosen people deciding to pick a war. Now, to be completely honest, I got a whole bunch of Twitter videos, and it's basically a whole lot of knee-jerk reaction. I'm seeing a lot of hallmarks of everything that I did see back in 2022, so I'm not entirely sure who's to blame, what started all of this stuff. All I know is that there's a lot of information running around, what is true, what isn't, what will be proven to be the instigating, or rather the inciting moment, and what could potentially be a false flag. We have no idea. Absolutely no idea right now, but one thing that I do want to say off rip, the only people who are going to end up getting negatively affected by this right now, the people who are in the most dire situations, are the actually innocent Israeli people, and then of course the Palestinians that are within Gaza right now that are about a moment's notice away from getting completely and totally razed, which I'm seeing way too many people all too happy to see, which we'll get to. Like I said, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. So Netanyahu tells Israel, we are at war. Yes, they have officially declared war. And what does that mean? Well, their coffers are going to get stuffed by American dollars, but not all that much right now. Anyways, we'll get to it in a second. After Hamas launches an unprecedented attack, killing at least 300 people. Is it really unprecedented? I got some questions. Okay. Hamas militants fired thousands and thousands of rockets and sent dozens of fighters into Israeli towns near the Gaza Strip in an unprecedented surprise early morning attack that during a major Jewish holiday Saturday, killing dozens and stunning the country. Which is, it's also kind of funny as well, because in trying to figure out who instigated this stuff, I have no idea why now. Why now was there this unprecedented attack? And shout out Ryan Dawson. Thursday, Israeli Zionists flooded the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is what Palestine is reacting to, and why they call their opposition Al-Aqsa flood. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a different language, and we're going to see a lot of that because obviously this is taking place in the Middle East. Ultimately, though, okay, like I said at the beginning, okay, all of the innocent people that are going to get killed by this conflict, those are the people that have my undying support. When it comes to the information at large, I guess we'll just all have that backed up, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm seeing in mass media as opposed to independent media, and well, I think the truth is once again just going to end up lying in the middle. It's kind of like when everything kicked off in Ukraine when we were seeing, oh my god, thank god the ghost of Kiev is flying by. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, to attack on a major Jewish holiday. Meanwhile, everything was also taking place on a major Muslim holiday. So yeah, okay. Israel said it is now at war with Hamas and launched an airstrike in Gaza. So that makes sense. Go ahead and continue to shell people that are not at all responsible for those attacks. Like, go after the radicals. Like, they're filming themselves right now. They're not exactly making themselves difficult to find. Go after them. Not the people that live in constant fear of this ultimate glassing that seems to be imminent. Why? Why attack this way? Hours after the incursion began, Israeli troops were still fighting Hamas gunmen in 22 locations near the Gaza Strip, including towns and other communities. Army spokesman Daniel Hagari said, a starlight sign is a breadth of the assault. Oh, a startling sign. Sorry, I was like, what the hell is a startling sign? Anyways, Israel's National Rescue Service said at least 100 people were killed and hundreds wounded, making it the deadliest attack in Israel in years. An unknown number of Israeli soldiers and civilians were also seized and taken into Gaza, an enormously sensitive issue for Israel. Oh, just go ahead and hand wave that away. Just a sensitive issue for that. Okay. Hagari said militants were holding hostages in standoffs in the two towns, Barim and Okafi, which is 15 miles from the Gaza border. All right, so we got some pictures, On fire vehicles, okay, smoke off in the distance, transport troop trucks, okay, and then we got Netanyahu, who delivered a statement, and then, of course, fucking brainlet in chief. Yo, man, I'm so tired of Megyn Kelly. Like, this bitch has had nothing but terrible takes. Remember how she was screaming from the rooftops with her emotional knee-jerk reactions? Why can't we believe women this time around when it comes to Russell Brand? Just shut the fuck up, okay? Yeah. Pray for Israel. Yeah, when they're out there saying we're at war, not an operation in rounds, but a war. This morning, Hamas launched a murderous surprise attack on the state of Israel and its citizens. We have been in since the early morning hours, and then would go on and say, well, through the Israeli Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant. They're all speaking in Hebrew. I could play the video, but nobody's going to understand it anyways. But today we saw the face of evil. Okay, the Hamas terrorist organization has launched a brutal attack against the citizens of the state of Israel, attacking men, women, children, the elderly indiscriminately. Hamas will understand very quickly that it has made a mistake, a grave mistake, and will pay a heavy price. Yeah, okay, if you were going after directly Hamas, the people that did this stuff, no problem with that at all whatsoever. You go ahead and you fight your conflict. 15 years ago, the head of the Southern Command, I came close to breaking neck, destroying of Hamas. I was stopped by the political echelon. This phenomenon will not continue. We will change reality on the ground in Gaza for the next 50 years. What do you mean by that? What was before will be no more. Oh, so it's going to get like super okay, we will operate at full force. Oh, great. So yeah, civilians died on our side. So you know what will be an equal and opposite reaction? Going and killing more civilians just on that side. But that's all right. And it's not like either party sees the other as human. But yeah, as Colin Rugg has it right here, and I have it stopped a little bit, you might be able to see some of this stuff. But as you can see, yeah, tanks are moving into Gaza, and well, it's not going to be good. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tells Gaza residents to get out now as he vows to use all IDF capabilities to destroy Hamas, which is code for, well, a whole lot of people are going to die. We will win this war, the one that you just proclaimed, okay? Like, who are you waging war against? But the price will be unbearably heavy. Hamas wants to murder us all. Yeah, no, I've taken a look at there, and I've done a video on this back when all of this shit first really kicked off. Well, most recently kicked off. I need to go ahead and say that because they've been fucking warring forever. This just seems like it's probably the most tense it's been in a long time. And I wonder why. We'll get to some of the inciting factors very shortly, at least some of the speculative ones. But no, when was that? That was summer of 2021 or something like that. Like there was a big dust up that happened then. The Iron Dome was active, and the only reason that bunch of different attacks, which we've got some footage of as well, why the Iron Dome didn't kick in with some of these missile strikes that were taking down buildings, it's because they did this very radical, very new age thinking tactic of firing a lot of missiles. So okay, weird. That's all you needed in order to just go ahead and bypass that multi-billion-dollar defense strategy. All right then. Murdering children and mothers in their homes. Red flag for a second. In their beds. It is an enemy that kidnaps elderly people, children, young girls. What happened today has never been seen in Israel, and I will ensure it will never happen again. The entire government supports this decision. Well, yes, of course, and all of them, as we see with the likes of Megyn Kelly and so many other warmongers that we'll go ahead and also touch on briefly as well. The IDF will immediately use all its power to destroy Hamas's capabilities. We will fight them to the bitter end and avenge this black day they plotted for Israel and its people. So again, what does that sound like? That sounds like complete shock and awe, and it's directed at the wrong people. Go after Hamas. Go after those people. But if you think by leveling all of Gaza is going to solve your problem when the insurgents are within your own borders, I got news for you. This shit ain't going to fucking work. All that's going to do is, well, instigate all of Gaza's partners, Iran mostly, okay? And that's kind of a big reason why everybody's kind of calling this into question. A couple of days ago, about a couple of weeks ago now at this point in time, $6 billion billion was afforded back to Iran. Now, a lot of people are running with the narrative, and like I said, there is a lot of information that's going on around right now. A lot of it is, well, it's just kind of, we got video, here's what it says. Don't necessarily know if it's taken recently, don't know if it's been hijacked, don't know if it's been doctored or anything like that, but this information is, well, it's been known for a long time. So anybody saying the Biden sent over $6 billion, that's not technically true. It was $6 billion in frozen funds from Iran. That was the way that it was supposedly released for, yes, the release of 5 Americans. I know I touched on that. When it happened, it seemed awfully stupid. The Iranian government now has access to $6 billion, their funds, to be used for humanitarian purposes. Is that also like the way that the United States government likes to classify infrastructure? Anything can be infrastructure. So the Iranian government can go ahead and say that, yes, we're doing all of this stuff under the auspices of humanitarian purposes, my friend. As a part of a wider deal that allowed 5 Americans who have been imprisoned in Iran go free. The money, which has been held in restricted accounts in South Korea before being transferred to a different restricted accounts in Qatar via banks in Europe, is a key part of the deal. So yeah, they got back $6 billion in funding that you're only supposed to use for humanitarian purposes. Yeah, no, I don't believe that it only just got held back from that. And I definitely do think that this has something to do with the timing of this. Obviously, as Ryan points out, has something to do with this Al-Aqsa, mosque attack. That seems to line up, really does. And then also, you know, all of the backing, all of the money that Iran just got, who's a big supporter of Gaza, of Palestine, add in Egypt, okay? Add in, you know, the goat fuck that's going on in Ukraine right now. And yeah, you really do have a recipe of what the fuck is going on at this point in time. And then you start to see more footage on the ground, as Don Jr. points out. These look a lot more like American M4s than the usual AK-47s used to seeing in the Middle East. Could these be from a stockpile of about 70,000 fully automatic machine guns that were left the Taliban? Yeah, and then also, you guys remember, there was this, I'm old enough to remember, but might need a refresher course, but there was this thing that happened that, I don't know, round toward, about this time, a couple years ago in Afghanistan. It was just a little dust up. The Biden administration doesn't want you to remember anything like that. It just resulted in like 13 armed forces members losing their life. Nah, it was nothing, man. It was just Biden trying to be sentimental to get out on the 20th anniversary of something. But a whole bunch of equipment got left in Afghanistan. That's not exactly a far cry away from getting into the hands of Palestinians. They're all in bed with one another. So yeah, that's highly possible. But then, because this is an ever-evolving situation, and I can't verify this at all, but Joey Manorino, who's somebody who's been pretty on point when it comes to a bunch of stuff, don't know where he got this video from, can't verify it, could be complete and total cap, but I seen it. I wanted to present this to you guys. Hamas is claiming Ukraine sold them weapons they used to attack today against Israel. Can't verify this at all whatsoever. Just putting it out there because a lot of people are sharing it around right now. Could be total cap, man. I think that there's probably a little bit more credence to those, exorbitant amount of United States military provisions in Afghanistan finding its way to that part of the world via the released funds. Iran probably helped Afghanistan, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, just get everybody properly equipped. Couple that with Israel's escalation on the attack on the mosque at the time, and you have the perfect recipe. And then also, at the same time, now with the funding going to Ukraine also being stopped, and well, how the fuck was nobody paying attention to what was going on right now? Because that's another big thing that's in here as well, okay? Like all of this was the perfect powder cake. How was this a surprise attack? You have two of the biggest, most proficient, and most feared spy agencies, 3-letter networks, at least when it comes to the American side of things, but the Mossad. The Mossad is very well regarded by every international community. How How the fuck did they not know that this was happening? For as many Hamas insurgents are on the Israeli side, there are equal amounts over in Palestine, across the Gaza Strip, of Mossad agents. They knew that this shit was coming. From what's being reported is that there was paragliders coming in over the fences, a bulldozer taking down large swaths of fence. How the fuck didn't Hamas get tipped off to this shit, that they are planning this stuff, they are rigging these machinations to plot this attack today? Mossad and the CIA knew of this attack. They had to, man, because again, the CIA knows everything. We also know that they knew a whole bunch of shit in regards to 9/11, and what? Because of lack of communications, because a general unwillingness to take action, their warnings fell on deaf ears. That was supposed to be rectified back in the cut. You're telling me that they didn't know anything about this? Everybody was caught flat-footed? Come on, man. Just like provoking Russia into conflict. Yes, exactly. Just like they knew Iraq didn't have nukes, verifiably so. Just like they knew Afghanistan wasn't responsible for 9/11. Yeah, exactly. How did you have a whole group of Saudi Arabians conduct a terrorist activity and then just decide, yeah, we're going to go into Afghanistan? Sorry, what? Who was pulling the strings? Well, you know. Oh, when these global warmongers want a war, they will get it. Stop pretending to be stupid. War is terrible. If Israel goes to war, even I know it would be internationally justified. Since this is an act of war from Hamas, a nation has a right to defend itself from threats. Reminds me of 9/11, not as deadly, but sort of the same thing. How could this happen? Revenge, 1000%. And then also, you know, there might be a little bit of incentive on the Israeli side to just go ahead and say, this is war, because Joe Biden... Okay, again, this is another one of those things that's going around right now saying that Joe Biden immediately sent over $8 billion in aid to Israel. It's not quite true, but then again, you know, it's just going to be kind of delayed a couple of days. President Joe Biden pledged support for Israel after Hamas carried out an attack in the southern region Saturday, pledging that Washington, D.C. will make sure, man, that what they need to help their citizens as they defend themselves. Yeah, exactly. Our greatest ally, you know. Hamas fired thousands of rockets while dozens of their fighters infiltrated the heavily fortified border by air, land, and sea. Why do you need to do that? We're going to have a map of the area if you're unfamiliar. It's a very small place, okay? You're only going to need, and ultimately they're probably just going to need, you know, just like a handful of bombs in order to fucking level the place. So that attack quickly drew bipartisan rebuke from leaders of the United States, as Israel is seen as its, greatest ally. Biden delivered the remarks at the White House without taking any questions and then just doing his old man shuffle off stage. What a fucking embarrassment. Israel has right to defend itself and its people. Full stop. There's never justification for terrorist attacks. And my administration's support from Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering. Let me say it as clearly as I can. This is not a moment for any party hostility to Israel to exploit these attacks to seek advantage. The world is watching. That's why we got to send so much money over there, because there's no time to discuss this. That's why we see so many brilliant knee-jerk reactions to this shit, which we'll get to. Meanwhile, several social media posts quickly circulated on Saturday alleging that Biden authorized an $8 billion security package following the attacks. There was a presidential memorandum that did go out citing a 1961 statute saying that, yeah, there's already provisions that are on the books. But there is a gigantic asterisk next to this. The claim was posted by several high-profile accounts, including some apparent news websites, and appeared to originate from a photograph, appeared to showing a White House press release declaring an $8 billion in aid. Photograph suggests Biden ordered the Department of State to direct a drawdown of up to $8 billion in defense articles and services of the the Department of Defense and military education, training, and provide assistance to Israel. Yes, that's the 1961 statute that I cited before. I've seen all of this stuff take off, and I highly recommend this podcast as well. Earlier today, Tim Pool did a little pop-up stream on Fresh and Fit's channel. Very good discussion. except for it just kind of curtailed into fresh going into, you think about this, things happen in the end times, and what we're seeing right now is a lot of things that show up in the Bible. It's like, okay, we got it, but we need to go ahead and deal with what's going on the ground right now. We could just do that, just save for the ghost stories for another time, okay? Biden has approved an emergency military aids package to Israel worth $1 billion. Zelensky is furious. Yeah, of course, posted, conservative commentator Jackson Hinkle. Seen that go around a couple of different times, but here's the thing. No such press statement has been posted by the White House website, and Biden did not provide any details about specific aids during his press conference Saturday afternoon. Biden said he had been in contact with members of Congress and directed his national security team to begin discussions with their Israeli counterparts to make sure Israel has what it needs, which will probably be $8 billion when it's all said and done, at least for the first round. And then they're going to need continuing aid on top of the $3.8 billion per year that Israel already gets. Yeah, they already get $3.8 billion. So guess what? Their military aid is going to increase precipitously. I just find it very funny. Okay, very funny that now that the Republicans had finally come to their senses, even though in the early days of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, everybody from Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton, just about everybody down the line, can't speak for Rand Paul, he might have been the only one just going, we just go ahead and look this over. No, you're a bigot, you're a Putin supporter. Whatever, man, it really doesn't much fucking matter at this point in time, but everybody was pro-Ukraine, Slava Ukraini. We need to go ahead and send as much aid over there as possible without ever, just really knowing the situation. So yeah, now that the Republicans are saying, yeah, we don't really need to support Ukraine anymore. That's kind of a Ukraine thing. Now everybody's hopping on the bandwagon that our greatest ally it's in peril right now. We need to send over as much aid as they need. They need to have whatever they can get. Like, bro, you're just exchanging one conflict we have nothing to do with for another that could very easily, this one right now with Israel, could very well instigate that World War III that you just couldn't quite get with Russia and Ukraine. Fucking hate this, man. I hate it so goddamn much. Because, okay, what's all this shit going on right now? What are we seeing out there on the ground? What's the impetus for all the saber rattling? I find this one very interesting because here you have Al Jazeera. Looks like Al Jazeera doing a newscast. You got this chick in the foreground. It's another thing that also popped up on the Fresh and Fit. Kim Pool, Luke Rudkowski was also there, and then what the fuck there? Ian Crossland, dressed like 1973 drapes. It's like, he actually had some good points for as fucking flighty as he can kind of be. But yeah, this clip came up and Tim was absolutely furious about, that chick reporting on this stuff, with her goofy little helmet and flak jacket. She's the press. Yeah, you're not supposed to attack them or anything like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Something seems a little bit off because I was seeing clips of this earlier in the day as well. And I'm like, I don't really know. Israel targets and destroys residential buildings in Gaza live and caught on air. The video above shows the Israeli warning shot to alert people in the building to evacuate. Now, minutes later, the building was hit by a salvo of missiles and destroyed. The building was 14 floors and had 100 residential units inside, as well as office space and some small media outfits. This is the second biggest building in Gaza. It is now gone. Go ahead and play a little bit of this right here.
Gaza. Do you know anything about that? What can you report at this stage?
Look at how goddamn perfect that is right there. Okay, the moment that they throw over right there, the framing's perfect. You got the building in place. It's like, yeah, I know that the attack happened, but goddamn, does that just seem like it's either just serendipitous timing or somebody's trying to get maximum sympathy. But yeah.
All right.
Oh shit.
Please take cover. If you are in a position to do so safely, you can explain to us what we're happening. If you are not in a position to do so safely, then please get to safety.
No, it's okay. This is a missile attack on...
That's pretty much what I wanted you guys to get, just the idea of what's going on. You get some chick who's just wailing on television, trying to elicit sympathy, okay, trying to get you, oh my god, there's so many people that are in trouble. Okay, that's why all the messaging is all the women and children that are currently being taken captive. It's like, it's designed to just heighten your emotions so that you have knee-jerk reactions. It's just like every single time that there's a mass shooting event, except for when it happens on the weekends in the south side of Chicago. They're awfully mum on this, but the leftists will come out and say, we don't want any more mass shootings. We need to just hurry up and ban guns. Bad policy, bad defense decisions always happen when emotions are heightened. So that's why whenever I see declarations of war right after this, it's like, oh, just go after the motherfuckers that fucking did the shit. How do you know within seconds that, it's Hamas and we're just going to go over there? It's like, what the fuck? Okay, why don't you investigate this shit before? Nope, we got to go to war. But yeah, here's another angle of the bombing that went down. We don't really need to see it. All you need to do is just kind of see what goes on right there, because this motherfucker got lit the fuck up multiple times over. Oh, it's controlled demolition. No, I'd imagine that shit was probably hit, probably by some missiles, by some rockets that, may or may not have been left in the Middle East in 2021. Or hell, it could even still just be, well, let's keep it honest, U.S. equipment that made its way down from Ukraine. Regardless, though, that building right there in Gaza City, the second largest building, yeah, she's fucking kaputs right now, man. But that's on the Gaza side. On the Israel side, well, we got some still frames, which, yeah, some of the reporting that's down there, and especially, like, a lot of it's bloody, and a lot of it, I don't really, I've had my fill on seeing dead bodies today, just to let everybody know, so I'm going to go ahead and do you guys a favor if you haven't been perusing all of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and curtail this as best as possible. We are being slaughtered. Israelis cry for help as Hamas militants break into their homes. Yeah, man, that's super fucked up, okay? Hamas terrorists raided at least two, kibbutzim, sorry, can't pronounce that shit, in Israel's south Saturday as part of a wider shock attack on Israel, leaving residents in the defenseless communities begging for help. Civilians said that they were being held captive by terrorists in their homes, begged the army to send forces to the southern, those areas, kibbutzim, okay, of Nir Oz and Nir Am, okay, along the other communities on the Gaza Strip border. We are being slaughtered. There is no army. Well, how are you saying that? You've not been slaughtered yet. Jokes, because this is so fucking grim. It has been 6 hours, one kibbutz resident said. People are begging for their lives. Yeah, exactly, because there's been a few videos that have been circulating right now. I'm not going to show this one because, well, there's a lot of blood on those sweatpants and some very gross places, so I don't even want to know what the fuck is going on. But first and foremost, man, yeah, this video right here, it's like, okay, those are the people that you want to go after. It shouldn't be that fucking hard to find them. These goat fuckers can't even drive a cocksucking Jeep appropriately. Fucking get them. Nuke that well, not actually use nukes, Israel, you fucking maniacs, but no, you go ahead and you bomb the piss out of that Jeep, okay? Like, I got some, like, you could do some analysis on them. Oh, I don't know, are these crisis actors? I'm going to take this information at face value, not dig into it too much with the conspiratorial mind behind it. I would just imagine that there's probably a lot of sympathetic parties that are probably around there filming this, putting it up there because, yeah, all you can hear in the background, okay? As for the audio, and again, I don't want to play it because there's a lot of gore and I don't want to get this struck. I want to get the information out there, but yeah, their hostage there seems a little bit too compliant, and you can also see her captor also having very good trigger discipline, so that's somebody who's obviously trained. And yeah, again, you could read into this that, oh, it's a crisis actor. No, I'm just going to go ahead and take it at face value that, yeah, this is one of those videos that was going around out there saying that Hamas has captured an IDF soldier. Looks like somebody who is just like in civilian clothing, as far as I can tell. But then again, okay, it depends. I don't know all the statutes when it comes to Israel. Like, okay, the moment that they're at war, is everybody who has been trained by the IDF immediately activated? That could very well be the case, because that's kind of the statute. All of the troops that are in reserves in other places in Western countries, they immediately get activated. That's kind of the long-standing gimmick in a bunch of these places. So does that happen with the IDF? And if that's the case in Israel, well, everybody who becomes of age has mandatory military service, whether you're a male or a female. So yeah, by calling her an IDF soldier, I think you can get away with that. But at the same time, if this isn't somebody who's ready for combat, you're just, snatching up a civilian, man. Like, Hamas terrorists kidnap Israeli teenager into Gaza, parading her in the streets, screaming, Allah Akbar. Yeah, exactly, because that's all you can hear in the background. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. It's almost like somebody's got, a fucking soundboard off screen. But again, horrific if true, and chances are it is. But yeah, the way that people are just saying, you have to pick a side. No, I'm on the side of the civilians. The innocent people who are going to end up dying just because people want to make a fucking quick buck. Today, it is a girl in Israel. Tomorrow, it could be your sister, your daughter, your girlfriend. Yeah, we need to go over there and we need to fight them where they are. Where have we fucking heard this script before? The world needs to understand this is not a war about land. This is a war between radical Islamists and the West. Interesting. Choose a side. Israel under attack by somebody who is a self-professed journalist who only writes in Yiddish. Interesting. I don't think that he's playing to a certain side. But another video that is going around as well is, there was a kidnapped, there's a body, okay, somebody with a couple of identifiable markers, dreadlocks and all that shit. And a lot of people very quickly have found out that, oh yeah, this is this chick. She was going to a Music for Peace festival. And it's like, okay, she's half German, half Israeli. She was down there to just listen to some music and have some good vibes or something like that when this all ultimately happened. Now, the video, which obviously I'm not going to show you because it's being reported that it's a dead body, which, like I said, I've seen more than enough dead bodies today that I don't think you guys want to either. So, again, absolute tragedy because it's not like she was down there to instigate a war or anything like that. And if Hamas is using her as some sort of trophy, yo man, IDF, go get those fuckers. Like, I got no sympathy for that. The girl that has been kidnapped by Hamas is apparently a German national who was visiting the music festival. She's half and half. Her name is Shani Luke. It's Blind Eye, the IRGC terrorist, and it led to this debacle in Israel. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, to be completely honest. It's just one of the many posts identifying her. But yeah, as you can see, just a bunch of people that are inside. And then, Palestinians take control of an Israeli tank across the border fence with Israel from Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip Saturday. So what, they got a tank now. And then, that's, I guess, a longer form piece of footage showing all of the vaguely American military equipment, or who knows how they procured it, instead of, just, guys in 1980 or 1993 Bills Super Bowl champions, hanging out the back of a decked out Isuzu. Not quite the same caliber anymore. Yeah, man, bombed out buildings, rockets going off, all that shit, all over this tiny fucking strip of land. As you can see, Israel right here, big place, a lot of IDF soldiers, and they're looking to glass this little motherfucker right here. Why? At least 300 Palestinians were killed and 1,700 wounded in the retaliatory strikes from Israel. Yeah, and how many people were initially killed in Israel? And then you think that that's appropriate for a much smaller, much more condensed area. I hate it. I hate all of the actions that we're seeing right now. Yeah, from the Hamas soldiers going door to door. We've seen footage of that as well, which is like, wow, did you guys hire a cameraman to do this? But anyways, a little skeptical. Not saying that it's not happening, but then at the same time, it's like, we've seen so much propaganda in the early days of Ukraine. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical until proven true. And then also, okay, shout out Jake Shields for, these are Hamas prisoners stripped to their underwear. Looks like neither side is treating prisoners well. No, exactly. And again, those could be Hamas insurgents, okay, 100%. I won't show you any more of the footage, or rather any more of the still shots, because it gets awfully graphic from there. Even as graphic as that is right there, but we don't know. We're not there. But for everybody chiming in on this, from the likes of, man, fuck is wrong with Jordan Peterson? Outside of the fact that that guy can't even maintain composure throughout an entire fucking interview. Like, man, that dude, he hasn't had a good take in years at this point in time. It's so sad, man. Because right up to, 2018? He was that dude. But something happened, man. Something happened over there in Russia. Daughter got his ear. Those Daily Wire paychecks be hitting different now. And all of a sudden, now he's tacitly endorsing Netanyahu to just go ahead and fucking glass Gaza. Like, what's going on? A reminder that this is the man who couldn't bring himself to say that he'd have voted for Trump in 2016. The man who tells you again and again that you should avoid any form of nationalist sentiment or group identity at all, because that way lies concentration camps and gulags. Yeah, telling him to just go ahead and, well, you know, we don't need to get into all of that stuff, but yeah, somebody else who has been taken by a different strain of derangement, okay? Not like the Daily Wire one, even though he pals around with those guys, but this is that Ron DeSantis strain of fucking brain rot. When Israel bombs the fuck out of Gaza, which is, oh, I'm sorry, the wrong accent on this one. Oh, when Israel bombs the fuck out of Gaza, very, very classical liberal of you. We should, for however long it takes, remember that Egypt, which shares a border with Gaza, won't let one Palestinian in. Actually, they bombed the border and flooded tunnels to keep their Palestinian brothers out. Hey, you go ahead and show some fucking ancient old footage, okay? Oh no, yeah, we're just keeping everybody out on that one. But yeah, no, everybody who's fucking cheering this on right now, I just grabbed a couple of examples of people that, well, personally, I used to respect quite a bit. Now, all of a sudden, well, it's not really over. All of a sudden, it's kind of been like a long build-up over a couple of years. Dave Rubin has lost his mind, just desimping everywhere, and Peterson that one's just tragic, of course, but him just going out there cheering on, and oh yeah, nobody's coming to help you. Fantastic fucking stuff that you have right there. But I want to hear what Trump has to say on this one, because he had a rally earlier in the day in Iowa. And well, a lot of people, and again, you know, something else that's going around a lot is a lot of people are saying we need to just bring back Trump. It's like not just one man can do anything, but at the same time, the world was in a much better place when Trump was in the big chair. But okay, his comments on this, I haven't seen the entire speech, I'll be completely honest, but one that I seen that came out on this, the Israeli attack was made because we are being seen as weak and ineffective, and with a really weak leader. Yeah, exactly. Compound that with everything else that we mentioned, that Iran ended up getting some funding. Israel's kind of incentivized for getting more funding over the top of this. You have the mosque invasion. You have a Jewish holiday. You have that ever-present desire to just go ahead and fund foreign wars. That's what you're getting, man. That's what you're getting. This is the return to normalcy we were all promised, and 81 million retards decided to tacitly endorse in 2020. Now you're getting wars fucking everywhere. Maybe not ones that, you know, the United States and the West are actively involved in. They're just gonna go ahead and covertly fund all of this fucking nonsense. And man, at least, you know, this time around, a lot of people have woken up to this. And somebody who used to kind of be one of those bedwetting bitches, you know, has gone fucking turbocharged on, well, at least on X, on social media. Haven't watched a lot of the shows, and you know what, I might have to, because Viva Fry, he's one of them boys, by the way. So again, this isn't something where it's like, oh, the Jews are all wrong, oh, them fucking Muzzies are at it again. No. These are corrupt establishments, corrupt parties that are at play right now, not doing anything for the benefit of the civilians. Oh, fucking no. They're out there to enrich themselves once again, just like Ukraine, just like the Middle East 1.0. They're trying to get the fucking band back together, guys. That's something like this could happen in Israel as horrific incompetence at best, or at worst, egregious corruption. Blame Hamas terrorists all you want. Evil lives to inflict, or evil lives to inflict evil. That is presumably what the government is protecting Israeli citizens from. But a government that cannot provide the most basic security for its own citizens is morally, legally, and ethically culpable. And now Netanyahu is going to raise Gaza, kill a bunch of innocent civilians, just as Hamas wants, and try to confirm himself as wartime prime minister. There it is. If everything you do is exacerbating the problem you are in a power to resolve, you are failing in the job you were elected to do, and you deserve to be held to account. Exactly. My problem is once again with these elected officials who just go ahead and deciding life and death for their citizenry, all to make sure that their mythological party, that their ideological positions are protected. No, man. This is about the people that are down there. Do they want any of this shit? Fucking no, man. They just want to live in peace. But guess what? Maybe I'm just becoming a big old softy in my day and age. But I've been seeing a bunch of this shit carry over time and time and time again. I didn't fall for the Ukraine-Russia shit. You can go back and you can check my fucking history on that stuff. I kept it 10 toes down, knowing that Ukraine is corrupt as a motherfucker. But this time around, man, I don't know who started it, but I know who's going to be, I know who's going to finish it if these fuckers end up getting their way. Doesn't look good for the prospects of a future. We don't know what World War III is ultimately going to be fought with, but World War IV is going to be fought with sticks and stones. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.